For the following equations, we have to apply the box method and the quadratic formula. Okay, so ngayon, let's see for our first given, let's apply the box method first, no, for our solution. We have the given x squared minus x minus 2 equals 0. Ngayon, to start my solution, let me draw a box. Ayan, so meron na akong box dito. Ngayon, i-divide ko yan into 4 squares. At sa tabi ng box, siguro magdodrawing din ako dito ng t-table. Ayan, para tuloy-tuloy na yung solution natin. Ngayon, uh, let us write the first term dun sa upper left corner ng ating box. And for the third term naman, ilalagay ko naman yan sa lower right corner ng ating box. Now, for the next step, we have to get the product of x squared and negative 2. Then we have negative 2x squared. Now, let's find the two factors of negative 2x squared na ang sum ay yung middle term or yung negative x. So let's try 1x and negative 2x squared divided by 1x, that is negative 2x. Now let's find the sum 1x plus negative 2x, that is negative x. And yes, nakuha na nga natin ang ating middle term. Agad-agad nakuha natin yung ating factor. So, dyan, yung dalawang factor na yan, yun yung ilalagay natin dito sa remaining squares natin. Yan, dito naman yung negative 2x. After that, we have to get the common factor of the column and the rows. So let's have first the first column, negative 2x and negative 2. The common factor is negative 2. For the second column, x squared and x, the common factor is x. For the first row naman, ang common factor nila ay x. And yung remaining row, ang common factor ay 1 lang. Now, nakuha na natin yung top and left side ng ating factor. So dito naman, ilalagay ko yung x minus 2 dito sa left side ng ating equation. And for the right side naman, ilalagay ko naman yung ating x plus 1. And we will equate the factor dito sa 0, no? Now for the x minus 2, let's equate x minus 2 equals to 0. Ayan. Yan yung left side ng equation. And then for the right side of the equation, x plus 1, we have x plus 1 here equals 0. Ngayon, to find the two solutions, no? So dito naman muna, I'll add 2 both sides. Then we have here x equals positive 2. Okay, nakuha ko na yung unang x ko. Ngayon, para sa pangalawang x natin, we will subtract negative 1 both sides. Then we have x equals negative 1. And ayan na. So nakuha na natin yung dalawang solutions natin. Okay, dun sa given equation. Now to check if our solutions are correct, let's just input the two solutions dun sa original equation natin. Okay, so mag-umpisa tayo kay 2. Then we have 2 squared minus 2 minus 2 again. And then dapat yan ay equal sa 0. Now 2 squared is 4. And negative 2 minus 2, that is negative 4 equals 0. And yes, it is equal nga sa 0 ang ating first solution. So that is our first example. Now, let's move on to the next example. Ayan, so ang next example natin ay 8x squared minus 6x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so dito naman, ang gagawin natin dyan, since our a is greater than 1, no? So, ganun pa rin. I-apply pa rin natin ang box method natin. So, let me draw a box once again dito sa ating solution. Ayan. Okay, for our first step, no, let's write the first term dun sa upper left corner and the third term naman dun sa lower right corner. And then we get the product of 8x squared and then yung negative 5. So ilalagay ko yan sa taas nung table natin. Ngayon, 8x squared times negative 5 is negative 40x squared. Tapos, we get the factor of negative 40x squared. Then we have, yung una muna, try natin si 1x, no? Ayan, negative 40x, and that is negative 39, which is not, no? Hindi yan ang ating hinahanap na factor. Let's try another one. How about 4x, no? Negative 40x squared divided by 4x, that is negative 10x. And yes, if we add them together, we have negative 6x. No? Then we have the two factors na ilalagay dun sa loob ng box. So yung first 4x muna, and then dito naman yung negative 10x. Once again, pwede magkabaliktad yan dalawang yan. No? The first column muna, let's get a common factor, negative 10x and negative 5. The common factor is negative 5, 8x squared and 4x. The common factor is 4x. And for the first row naman, ang common factor nila is 2x. Okay? And then, yung sa last, ang common factor ay 1 only. Okay? So, dito naman, ang 4x minus 5, yan ang ilalagay ko sa first part ng equation, yung left side ng equation. Dito ko na ilalagay sa taas. Minus 5. And then yung 2x plus 1, dito kayo ilalagay sa tabi ng unang equation natin. Unang factor natin, rather. So, yan. Now, let's find the two solutions. No? 4x minus 5. Yan. Equal 0 muna. And then yung right side, 2x plus 1. Yan, 2x plus 1. Let me write this. And then equal 0. Okay. Now, to find the solution, I'll add both side by 5 and then di-divide ko naman sa 4 after kong ma-add yung 5 both sides. Okay, then um, ang sagot ay magiging 5 over 4. Okay, so ganun din sa kabila. Add, subtract both sides naman by negative 1 and then divide by 2. So that we have negative 1 over 2. And here you go. We have the two solutions of the second example. So for our remaining examples, so we will use the quadratic formula. We have here the solution x equals negative b and then plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4AC divided by 2A. Okay, where A, B, C are any real numbers, pero si A ay hindi dapat equal kay 0. So, yan ang quadratic formula na gagamitin natin dito sa remaining equation. Okay, for example, number 3, hindi pa yan naka-standard form. So, let me distribute 2 dun sa loob ng parenthesis. For the first term, meron tayong 6x squared. And then, for the next term, 2 times 4, we have uh, positive 8 yan, equals 19x. Now, since hindi pa rin naka-standard form yan, let me subtract 19x both sides. Ayan. Now we have here dun sa right side ng equation magiging 0 na. Lahat ng terms ay mapupunta sa kaliwa. So 6x squared for the first term, negative 19x. Yan naman ang middle term natin, and for our last term, meron tayong positive 8. And now we have here the standard form of this equation. Now let me uh, find the A. So A is 6. Now the second leading coefficient is negative 19, and the third leading coefficient is positive 8. Okay? Now, dito sa ating calculator, kailangan ko lang palitan dyan yung B. So yung B natin is negative 19. Yan muna, yung negative 19. Ganun din si A dito. Ito yung formula na ginamit natin. A is 6, C is 8, and yung A natin is 6. Okay, for the first solution, the positive sign, we have 8 over 3. Okay, ngayon kapag ka negative sign naman ang ginamit natin, ang lalabas ay 1/2. Okay, once again, yung first solution natin ay 8 over 3 kasi naka-positive sign siya. Ngayon kapag ka naka-negative sign siya, 1/2 naman. Okay, let me write the two solutions in this area. X of 1 or x is equal to 8 over 3. That is our first solution. And for our second solution, meron naman tayong 1 over 2 or 1/2. Okay, these are the solutions that we have in this example. For our fourth example, meron naman tayong 15x squared equals 2 times 4 minus 7x. So, kagaya ng number 3, hindi pa rin siya naka-standard form. So, ang kailangan natin gawin dyan para maging standard form, same sa process ni number 3, I have to distribute 2 dun sa loob ng parenthesis. Okay? So, let's try. So, we have here 2 times 4. And let me write first 15x dun sa left side. And 2 times 4 is 8. And 2 times 7 or negative 7x, that is negative 14x. Okay? Now, as we continue, kailangan lahat ng bagay sa kanan ay mapunta sa kaliwa. So that, I will subtract negative 8 and add 14x both sides. Ayan. So, yung right side ay magiging 0. At yung left side naman natin ay meron tayong first term na 15x squared, second term na 14x, at yung third term natin ay negative 8. Okay? So, I think naka-standard form na ang ating equation. So, we have A value na 15. Yung second leading coefficient natin ay positive 14. At yung C ay negative 8. Okay, now let's have here the solution for our calculator. No, ganun pa rin, palitan lang natin ng mga letters, no? So B is 14. Our A is 15. And C dito ay negative 8. And yung isa na A ay 15 pa rin. Now, kapag ginamit natin yung negative sign, ang lalabas ay negative 4/3. Now, let's try yung palitan natin to ng positive sign. Ang lalabas naman na solution ay 2/5 or 2/5. Okay, once again, kapag ka negative sign to, ang lumabas na solution ay negative 4/3 at kapag positive sign naman is 2/5. Okay, so isulat natin yan dito sa fourth example natin. These are our solution. So for the solution number 1, we have 2/5. And then for the next solution, meron naman tayong negative 4/3 or 4/3. So these are our two solutions for this example. Now, let's move on to our last example. So, ito, very basic lang ito. X squared minus 4x equals to 3x minus 12. So, ililipat lang natin ang mga terms na nasa kanan dun sa kaliwa. So, for x minus 3x, and then we have plus 12 equals 0. Okay, so pagsamahin natin ng dalawang magkamuka, yung negative 4x and negative 3x. So we have negative 7x plus 12 equals 0. Now let's identify the leading coefficients, the A, B, C. We have our A, 1. Yung B naman natin ay negative 7. At yung C ay positive 12. Now let's have here in our calculator. Ayan, so ganun pa rin, papalitan natin ng ating letters na nandito. So try natin sa positive sign muna, no? So yung B natin ay negative 7. Let us change B into negative 7. Tapos yung A naman natin ay positive 1. Tapos yung C natin ay 12. Doon sa denominator, meron tayong 1. Okay, yung positive sign ng ating equation, we have 4. That is our first solution. And for our second solution, we have 3 naman. Okay, once again, first solution, kapag positive, ang lalabas ay 4. Kapag negative, ang lumabas ay 3. So let me write the two solutions in this last example. X is equal to 3 and the second solution is equal to 4. And now we are done for our 5 examples. Now I hope you learned something. If you have question, mag-comment lang kayo sa comment section dito. Thank you and God bless everyone.